Okay folks, we're just coming into Koblenz. We just got coming down off the motorway. And Koblenz is quite a large city, a population of about 100,000. We're going to cross a river, but it's, anybody know what the name of the river is?
Rhine.
The Rhine, wrong. Okay, I wouldn't have asked it if it was easy, would I? No, but the Rhine is very close. It's actually why Koblenz is quite important where it's situated where it is. It's right on the corner, but a lot of you would have heard of this river as well, particularly if you're into wine, the Moselle. Okay, Moselle wine, Moselle from France. Okay, it comes across here and it meets up with the Rhine. And the city of Koblenz is situated right on the confluence, on the corner of where the two rivers meet. And it's the river that we're passing over in just a few moments. You'll see the name of it there on the left, Moselle. And it comes to the right, and the Rhine is over to our left. The city of Koblenz is, well, it's all around us here at the moment, but that's the old town to it over there on the left. So that's the Moselle. That's Moselle wine, and that leads straight over there to the Rhine. And you'll see part of the town hall, the church. Now this is also a city that only pretty much the churches remain. You look at these buildings on the right hand side here, and also a lot of these buildings around, other than the churches, these are all down there, and these are all buildings that were wiped out during the war. In fact, just down here, the reason for it, this city, it was across the river. Here is a bridge. There's two bridges close to Koblenz over here on the left, and it was around the major cities. That's why it was targeted. But more importantly, there's a railway bridge, and this was a major railway station that was leading to the south to big industrial cities that were big enormous, like towards Mainz, Frankfurt, Ludwigshafen, Mannheim, and so that is why this railway station that you'll see in a few minutes was important. You know, they wiped out this town and all the buildings and that around here, okay, in 22 minutes. Okay, they bombarded it, 22 minutes, 70% of this town was destroyed. So everything you see is post-World War II, so it's all 1950s mainly architecture. You'll see the station is just over here. Okay, just as we get up and here you'll look down on the station. And as I say, so it was a major communications link why they took it out. It is still today, but was back then as well. So you imagine all the buildings and everything around here were post-World War II. So you'll see the main station and that down here. So Koblenz today is a big wine festival. Come time of vendage, or the time of the picking of the grapes. We're going to do the harvesting and bring in the new wine around the change of seasons. They have a big wine festival here in Koblenz. And then you'll start to see, as we go down, you'll start to see some of the castles dotted up on the hills. Okay. Can I just get you to go down? I can't stay. It's too dangerous to stay there. Now, what you're going to see, as soon as we get down onto the river, okay, you're going to see the river itself with the numbers, okay, on the side. And what they are is kilometer marks from the start of the river. Okay, so you know exactly where you are, okay, when you are on the river. Okay, so you know how many kilometers you are from where it starts. And where it starts is in Switzerland, okay, the back of Lake Constance. And Lake Constance sits in the top of Switzerland. Across the north it runs, and then it runs on an angle, a northwesterly angle, right up, okay, to where I mentioned yesterday, it comes out near Rotterdam. 1,320 kilometers away. Okay, so it tell we're about a little way over halfway down it, because you'll start to see these kilometre marks in a few moments. Okay, they're big white boards, and then they have the half-kilometre marked by a board with a black cross on it, and that's where you notice the half-kilometre marking. Okay, now the other thing is, you'll see also just down here coming up in a few moments, is a local brewery called Königsbacher. Okay, it's on the right hand side. You see that big building in front of us. It's a hotel, restaurant, but also then mainly used as the administration of the brewery. It's quite a well-known brewery in this region. But you'll actually see the big couple of ads in the side on the right hand side further down. They're right on the edge of the road inside the building. You'll see through the glass windows. And this is the brewery, as I said, just coming up the flags here, called Königsbacher. Okay, now you'll see it's just inside the glass windows here on the right, out of the brewery. And now we're on the river. You'll see, there, 7, you'll see the first kilometre mark that we'll see, and you'll see these everywhere along the river. Each kilometre is marked, each half-kilometre marked by the little whiteboard with the cross. And there's just like road markings, so you know exactly where you are on the river. As I mentioned, 1,320 kilometres it runs for. It is, you'll see how busy it is with the pleasure craft, but also it is a very important industrial river to get, of course, everything from raw materials right up to the finished product. Okay, so they'll do coal, they'll do iron ore, they'll do gas, petrol, they will do on these boats, and they will also, of course, you'll see finished vehicles, motor vehicles, they'll transport up and down this river. Now, I mentioned it's been used in ancient times, okay, Roman times. In fact, it was, I mentioned earlier, Julius Caesar was the person that had the first bridge built across the Rhine, okay, here. Now, you'll start to see some castles at different points that are dotted up here. One of the things this is to do with, you see one over here on the left, a lot of them look in very good condition. Most of these castles date back between 650 and some nearly up to 800 years old. But they look in pretty good condition purely because a lot of them are now privately owned. Okay, and they've been turned into boutique, very boutique exclusive hotels and restaurants, okay, that they have here. Now, I mentioned the Romans. It was actually, of course, that with the Rhine, it's seen its fair scene of battles over the years as well. One of them, of course, there are various legends. There's one we'll see a little later on after the Rhine cruise. There's one to do with a legend or the Serene called Lorelei. Okay, now what the Lorelei legend is to do with, apparently she was a beautiful maiden, a beautiful Serene, that used to enchant. She had a beautiful singing voice, and with her singing, she would stand up on the hills of the more treacherous part of the river, and with a beautiful singing voice and while brushing her long golden locks, she would enchant the sailors to be wrecked on the rocks below. Okay, and then they'd pilfer everything on the boat. So there's a moral to that somewhere. Okay, but I'm not sure I'll go into that. But so that's one of the legends with Lorelei. But this also, unfortunately, was seen during the Second World War. As we've already seen, many industrial cities and towns were smashed to pieces, of course, because of their proximity to this river. And the bombers were up and down here continually. Further on to the north of this river, it comes into another river that leads to a valley called the Ruhr Valley. Now, a lot of you will have heard of this. And it's up in that valley, of course, that there was a lot of testing of new weapons happening up there nearing the end of the Second World War. There was also a big armament section, and the Allies wanted to get in there and take it out. There was a series of dams that were up there, but it was too narrow, too hard to get in a plane in there to take and to drop the bombs on the dams. So there was this Brit, this Englishman, okay, who everybody thought was a bit crazy, okay, initially, that he came up with an invention